Hello plant people, welcome to No Rules Gardening. My name is Jim Putnam.
And I'm Brie Arthur, and today we are coming to you from the beautiful North Carolina Botanical Garden on the edge of UNC's campus in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
That's right, we're continuing our winter interest plant series, and where better to do that than a conservation garden dedicated to North Carolina native plants.
Hi, my name is Damon Wade. I'd like to welcome you to the North Carolina Botanical Garden. I'm standing in the coastal plains habitat, and did you know that in 1 hour you can walk across the entire state of North Carolina by coming to this botanical garden, where we feature the habitats from the mountains, the Piedmont, and the coastal plain, plus much, much more.
So as Damon said, you can come to the North Carolina Botanical Garden and explore all the different regions of North Carolina native plants. So Brie and I are going to take you on that tour right now, and don't forget to stick around to the end, because as in all of these tour videos, we're going to give you our 3 favorite plants at the end of the video.
Well, hello, I'm Chris LaLoya. I am the Habitat Gardens curator here at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. We're standing in one of the habitats. This is the Piedmont habitat. So the habitats are representations of plant communities throughout the southeastern U.S. So the North Carolina Botanical Garden is really something special in that we're a conservation garden. Our focus is on letting people learn about southeastern native plants, how they behave, where they grow in the real world, and also how you can incorporate them into your own garden and bring all of those sort of real world benefits to your own home landscape.
I'm Dan Stern. I'm the Director of Horticulture here at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. One of the reasons I was delighted that we could do the shoot here is because I think this is one of the best carnivorous plant collections in the country. We've got representation of the pitcher plants from all over the southeast, as well as Venus flytraps and sundews, which are just really iconic plants for North Carolina and for the southeast. And that really speaks to the Botanical Garden's mission as a whole, demonstrating sort of the unique plant palette of the southeast. And then we've got this blend of habitat collections and ornamental horticulture, so you get to appreciate these southeastern natives in different types of gardens, which I think is really unique.
Though the North Carolina Botanic Garden is known as a conservation garden, they have great displays to show home gardeners how you can garden with a lot of different plants, including their massive herb garden. Now this space is really unique because it includes collections from the culinary category to the industrial category, even medicinals and poisonous plants. Visitors can learn so much from coming here. Welcome to the North Carolina Mountain Habitat. This includes beautiful plants from the Ericaceae family, things that love acid soil, like Kalmia latifolia, the mountain laurel, and the always beautiful Rhododendron maxima. Tsuga canadensis, the eastern hemlock, is one of the beautiful conifers that you'll find growing in the North Carolina mountains.
So I'm standing in the Piedmont Prairie at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. The Piedmont is the area between the Appalachian Mountains and the coastal plain, and stretches from up into Virginia and down through parts of the southeast. Most of the soil in the Piedmont is a heavy clay soil, and it kind of defines the plants and the farming and the things that we can do in this part of the state. It is home to the largest cities, Raleigh, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and of course Charlotte.
The North Carolina coastal habitat has a lot of wonderful native plants as a part of it that are really critical for the landscape industry. Everything from wax myrtles and yopon hollies to leucothoe, aronia, and sweet bay magnolias are all native to the North Carolina coastline. Some of my favorites include pitcher plants and Venus flytraps.
The coastal plain is incredibly botanically rich. We have not mentioned bald cypresses.
That's true. And our native palm, the sable minor.
Yeah, and not to mention the tree that kind of defines cities in the southeast United States, live oaks.
Yeah, Quercus virginiana. No garden should be without one.
We've reached the Sandhills habitat at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. The Sandhills is kind of an area that's between the Piedmont, the center of North Carolina, and the coastal plain. The Cape Fear Botanical Garden, which was the last tour video we put up, is located in the Sandhills area of North Carolina. This is an area that's defined by fire.
And along with that are the beautiful longleaf pines that require fire to be able to get out of their juvenile stage. Now, of course, we don't really allow wildfires to burn all over the acreage of the Sandhills now, but there are a lot of groups that will allow for controlled burns, which is a great way to preserve this ecotype.
In the habitat gardens at the North Carolina Botanical Garden, some of the habitats actually are irrigated because we're trying to help people understand what plants grow in the southeastern mountains down here in the Piedmont. But for the most part, our approach is to try and grow, the right plant in the right place. You look at the site and you pick the plants, the group of plants that's going to do well there, rather than imagining what you want there and then adding irrigation to make it work.
Well, our approach here at the North Carolina Botanical Garden is really to recycle what nature's producing. So to the extent possible, we're collecting leaves from the trees that grow here on site, shred them, and then use that as a mulch layer to sort of replenish the soil with those nutrients. We'll augment that with shredded hardwood mulch that we get from campus is another more carbon-rich soil additive that we're just trying to put back on an annual basis what the plants are consuming.
One of my favorite winter interest plants at the North Carolina Botanical Garden is little blue stem, or Schizachyrium scoparium. This is it here. It just has a beautiful color, really nice texture, these fun fluffy seeds. It's also a really good habitat plant for like ground nesting bees. They use the base of the grass as a nice dry place to hang out. So don't cut it back until you have to.
One of my favorite plants this time of year is the split-beard blue stem, Andropogon ternarius. We've got a nice drift of it here just on the bank of this rainwater garden. And just what really jumps out at me about this plant is it's got these kind of fluffy seed heads that stay on the plant throughout the winter. And in the early morning and late afternoon, when we've got that low angle sunlight, it just catches these and they just shine like little bright white lights in the landscape. So I think this is a spectacular plant, and it prefers full sun and well-drained soils. Pretty rugged out there in the landscape once it gets established.
So as promised, Brie and I are going to give you our 3 favorite plants at every garden that we tour. And I think the first one we kind of have in common.
We do. This Ilex decidua Finch's Gold right behind us is a knockout, standout for the winter garden.
Yeah, you can see this thing from any angle in this big open space that we're in. So I'm going to let you go second. What's your...
This was such a hard decision. Who knew there were so many plants that would provide dynamic interest for the middle of January? So it was really hard to narrow down all of the ornamental grass choices here at the Botanical Garden. There's so many beautiful native ornamental grasses, but my top 3 really start with Panicum virgatum northwind. This is also known as switchgrass. White cloud mulley, that's Muhlenbergia capillaris white cloud, and river oats, Chasmanthium latifolium. They are all beautiful because they're upright and they blow in the breeze and they reflect the winter sunlight and they just can't be beat. So my third choice for winter interest is actually taking advantage of this incredible microclimate that's the result of this concrete. And what we have is blanket flower or gaillardia that's in full bloom here in January in Zone 7.
So my number 2 here is this Acer floratum here, or a southern sugar maple. Look how beautiful this thing is. It's the biggest standout to me in this courtyard space where the education center kind of wraps around it. When you walk into this space, you can see it from all angles. We're in January now and it's still holding these leaves, which have obviously gone through their fall color and then into their winter color, and the new leaves in the spring will push these off, but it's just a standout. It's a beautiful specimen of a tree. So my number 3 is going to be another holly. This is Ilex glabra. This variety is called Shamrock. I grew this one at my nursery for years. Great native holly. Gets a nice purple hue to it in the wintertime. Great standout. Shamrock was picked because it keeps its foliage to the bottom a little bit better. The non-species Ilex glabra will kind of limb up and become kind of a small tree looking plant, really. This one just stays fuller, more boxwood-like.
Now that we've shared our top picks, we want to hear from you. And since this video is all about native plants, write in the comments below and share your top winter interest native plants with us.
Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell notification so you're alerted when we upload a video. And then go over to norulesgardening.com and there's a blog post for each of these videos that we're putting up. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you in the garden. Now that we've shared our my name.
That may be in the you just walked through the shot though.
Sorry. Tsuga canadensis, the native eastern hemlock, is one of the beautiful fants. Really, fants? It's one of the fants.
Okay, all right. So Brie and I. Okay, all right. So.
I want to post a blooper.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So. That will be a blooper. Okay, all right. All right, so, and we already have like a bunch from this place because this was the first video we shot.